everyone to the 2019 Results for America Summit. We're so excited for all of you to be here. There's people from across the country, at all levels of government, and across the political spectrum. I want to put a special spotlight on our Results for America fellows who are so core to everything we do and the success we've had so far. So first I want to point out that the state and local workforce fellows who are meeting for the first time. Can you stand up? 23 people from 7 states. Our state education fellows, stand up. Our senior fellows and some of our alumni from our local government and nonprofit fellowships. And our economic mobility city initiative leaders. I know there's more than that, but people being shy. So we also have mayors, we have senior teams from governor's offices, we have folks from Capitol Hill, we have federal agency leaders, and we have folks from presidential campaigns. I want to thank our deeply committed philanthropists who are making this work possible: Bloomberg Philanthropies, the Edna McConnell Clark Foundation, the Ballmer Group, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, the George Kaiser Family Foundation, Schmidt Futures, the Hewlett Foundation, the Javits Foundation, and Arnold Ventures. Thank you all. And finally, my last and biggest thank you goes to the Results for America's team who has pulled this all together. Nicole, Zach, Quinn, Miles, Janine, Josh, Sophie, Lainey, and so many others. Thank you for being such an all-star team. So last thing is I'm hoping you will turn to your neighbor and the other folks at the table and just introduce yourself so you all know who else is in the room. It up. Excellent. So now let's go ahead and get started. I've unleashed good conversations. Let's go ahead and get started now. Yay! Excellent. So let's get started. We're all here for one purpose. That is to learn from each other about how to build and use evidence to get better results and increase economic mobility. We know solutions exist and we know progress is possible. There's more evidence today than ever before about what works. 7 years ago, David Medina and I started Results for America with a simple mission: to help policymakers at all levels of government harness the power of evidence and data to improve the lives of kids, families, and their communities. 7 years later, we've made incredible progress, mainly because all the people in this room. At the federal level, we've shifted more than $3 billion in federal spending toward evidence-based programs and policies. We've worked with Congress to identify and invest in what works in K-12 education, child welfare, juvenile justice, opioid prevention and treatment, and we've helped to improve decision-making in federal agencies through the Foundations for Evidence-Based Policymaking Act. We launched the Moneyball for Government campaign that now has more than 250 committed all-stars, including leaders from all levels of government from both political parties. We partnered with 2 lawmakers, Congressman Ben McAdams and Congresswoman Jackie Walorski, to help launch the new bipartisan Congressional What Works Caucus, which we're going to hear more about in a minute. This What Works agenda is one of the few places where both parties can agree. At the state and local level, we're seeing even faster progress. When we released our 2019 Invest in What Works standard of excellence tomorrow, you'll see 125 leading and promising practices by states. That's 37 more state examples than we found last year. At the local level, we're working with Bloomberg Philanthropies and all of our What Works Cities partners, many of whom are in the room today, to support over 150 cities to build data and evidence capacity and increase opportunity in communities. You're going to hear from some of those mayors shortly. So these numbers are extraordinary, and this impact is real. But most importantly, and the reason we're doing this work, is we're seeing lives changed. Lives changed because government is using evidence and data to get better results from public resources. And I want to give you just one example. Nevada state education officials seized on the evidence provisions in the federal Every Student Succeeds Act and have begun steering millions of dollars in federal and state grants toward evidence-based solutions. In one school, in Grass Valley Elementary School in Winnemucca, Nevada, a small rural town, that shift to invest in what works nearly doubled the number of third graders who are proficient in reading in a single year. As you can imagine, that's huge. And it's this progress, this impact on lives, that makes us so committed to supporting governments to use evidence and data to make better decisions. The goal in the next phase of our work, and for all of our work, is to get more examples like Grass Valley Elementary School, to demonstrate that if government behaves this way, if government shifts the billions of dollars they spend each year towards evidence and data-driven solutions, we'll make even faster progress on our nation's problems. That's why Results for America is doubling down and focusing on what works to accelerate economic mobility. We know that growing inequality and declining mobility are the great challenges of our time, and they demand urgent and effective solutions. Because every child that doesn't get access to a program that works, that could help put him or her on a path to success, that's the true cost when we don't govern using evidence and data. And every worker who doesn't get a better job training opportunity that could help lift his or her family out of poverty, that's the true cost when we continue to invest taxpayer dollars based on hunches, partisan politics, or what was done in the past. And when we govern this way, using evidence and data, testing new ideas, measuring our progress, and investing in what works, we improve results, and very importantly, we start to rebuild the public's trust in government. The challenge of mobility in our country is enormous, and because it will require bold solutions, we need to begin to restore Americans' faith that government can deliver on big things. This summit is packed with leaders who are doing that, starting with the 3 dynamic U.S. mayors who are on the cutting edge of testing interventions to accelerate economic mobility for their residents. And leading this session is my good friend Jim Anderson, who's the head of the Government Innovation Programs for Bloomberg Philanthropies. He's helping governments around the world get better results and rebuild trust with their residents. Please join me in welcoming to the stage New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell, Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum, Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren, and Jim Anderson.